Hey, y'all, and welcome to another empowering episode of Pep Talks with Megan De La Concha. I am so excited that I am back yet again. Actually, I was back last week and shared the adventure of what my life was entailing in the last, 4 to 5 weeks or so, and why I had been absent. But it was a necessary break that I had not planned or intended to take, at least for as long as I did, but it was absolutely unbelievably necessary. And I'm excited to be on here and tell you about the many lessons that came during this journey. So if you have not heard the journey, go back. You might be a little lost as to, well, what the heck is she talking about? So go back and listen to the first one, even if you just have to shuffle through just to get the main points. I will talk a little bit about it in here. But you're going to want to get the full story first, and then I can go ahead and tell you the lessons that came out of that story. So, before we begin, just a little housekeeping items. I am actually hosting a 21-day mindset reset with me. It is going to be 21 days of daily affirmations. They will be 5 minutes long. That is it. They will come directly to your email. So I am going to, in a little while, if you're not following me on Instagram, go ahead and follow me, because that's it, or Facebook. Go ahead and follow me at Megan De La Concha. My handle is down below. It'll also be in the show notes, or visit my Facebook group, which is The Grace Space with Megan. I will not be posting it on the personal empowerment page, nor will I post this on my regular page. I will be posting it specifically within the private group and community. Or if you don't have Facebook or you don't want to join yet another Facebook group and you just want to get emails, then keep an eye out. I will announce when the landing page, when the link is up and ready for you to go ahead and sign up for the 21-day mindset reset. It's going to be super amazing. It's super simple. And I actually encourage those of you who don't believe in affirmations, or maybe not believe in them, but you just don't really know much about it, I encourage you to sign up and give it a whirl. It's a challenge. It is meant to kind of allow you to learn something new, kind of allow you to really, challenge yourself and see if this is something that really works. It's not magical, though it seems like magic. It's not voodoo-y. It's not woo-woo. It's not this hippie kumbaya stuff. It's not cheesy. But if you want to prove this wrong, I also urge you to sign up, because some amazing, miraculous things happen in your life when you start utilizing and understanding the power of your own thoughts. Leading up to the challenge, in the Grace Space community. So if you want to just, create a Facebook profile just for this and then delete it, totally awesome. But I'm actually going to be talking more on the scientific, evidence-based facts about affirmations and the power of thought, and how that it's a real thing. It's not just something that people have made up, and it's not something that Gandhi has said, or Buddhists, or or anything like that. There is actual scientific research that goes behind this, and I want to bring that to you guys. So I will be doing a series of videos that kind of explain just basic what are affirmations, why they work, and how they change your mind, how the power of thought literally creates the life around you. So stay tuned for that. You can sign up. You can head to my website, megandelaconcha.com, and you can go ahead and sign up for my email list there, where you'll get all updates and notifications, including notifications for brand new episodes that come out every Monday morning. So, okay, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right into the lesson. So, again, last week we talked about this horrific, or what I thought was this horrific experience of moving. But let me go back a little bit further than that. A few months ago, I had really been on a Joyce Meyer kick. And if you're not sure who she is a hilarious woman pastor who has been around for forever. And she is just absolutely phenomenal. So check her out if you haven't. But I was listening to one of her sermons, and it was during a period of time where I just felt like everything was being shaken from my life. Like my life, I was just a tree, and God was literally shaking it, and everything was just falling. Nothing made sense. I didn't understand what was happening. I felt like I was doing everything right. I was going in the wrong or the right direction. I was doing everything I was supposed to, and everything just kept getting worse and worse and worse. So she had posed a challenge, and I might have mentioned this on a previous episode of Pep Talks, but the challenge was to really prove your faith in the Lord and to really test your faith and to really test your trust. Pray that God strips away from you all security, all security. So it took me a few days, and that saying that, it kind of took my breath away, like, oh God, no, because I know if I ask for it, it's like, be careful what you wish for, right? Be careful what you pray for. But I was so sick and tired of holding on to old things and old habits and old cycles that were really controlling my life. And I finally accepted the fact that I was asking God for new things while holding on to old tools. Whatever metaphor you want to use. I was asking for new doors to be open and holding on to old keys. I was asking for new power, but I was holding on to old power. I was asking for new money, and I was holding on to old mindsets, old money mindsets. I was asking for better health, and I was holding on to old habits and cycles. So you guys get it, right? So one night I did. I did. I sat there, and with a very humble heart, I just, in a very vulnerable and a very transparent heart, I truly prayed with the purest of pure hearts that no matter what, no matter how bad I didn't want it in the moment, no matter how scared I got, no matter how uncertain I was, how frustrated I was probably going to get, I prayed that God stripped me from any type of security that I was holding onto, even securities that I didn't know I was holding on to. And let me tell you, he did just that, and not all at once, because God is he's a compassionate God, and he's a God of understanding and patience and kindness. And he only gives you what you can handle, right? Every single day. But he definitely pieced all of my securities together and took them away one by one over the last 6 weeks, especially on the journey of my move. So, starting with the security of moving from house to house, right? God had already kind of removed when I decided to when I decided to resign from my 9 to 5, 14 plus years of working in the healthcare. In the healthcare, in healthcare. And I decided to become an entrepreneur and follow this passion. God had pretty much already stripped me from the security of money. That was lesson number one. And I think for me personally, that was the biggest lesson. And because I already knew, I was already very well aware that I had put a lot of security in money. When I didn't have money, I felt anxious and sad. When I did, and I was praying to God, please, 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 let me pay my rent, give me some money. And then when he did, and things were really good, I just forgot about God, and I was controlling things on my own, right? I lived most of my life with that back and forth, coming to God with my hand out, and then when he gave it to me, pretty much just turning my back on him and acting like, well, I did this and I did that and I made it work and I'm living large. And there was no wisdom. There was no conversation with God about what I should do with my money, nothing like that. So I already knew that was one of the biggest things I needed to work on. So because it was the biggest thing, it was also the easiest thing because I was really motivated and really aware to let go of that security. So God did just that. And it hurt a little bit. I think that was the place that I was in when I actually came across the sermon from Joyce Meyer. Um, so that's all said and done, right? Well, as we were waiting for the approval of this apartment, um, I kept getting so anxious and so stressed because of the security that I was putting in from going from one set of four walls to another set of four walls. And I was becoming very prideful of the fact that if I didn't supply or help, again, listen to what I'm saying, if I didn't provide set of four walls that I could call my own, my husband and I could call our own, that my kids could call their own, then I was just a failure as a parent. That I was doing everything wrong. I was so afraid of being judged by other people. I was afraid that other people were going to be like, yeah, well, looks like her business is going real well, like just the judgment, just the gossip that I probably would never even hear. And honestly, it would have never been said. But here I am in my own head trying to control something that hasn't even happened, trying to figure everything out on my own, right? Trying to figure out steps 3 and 4 without even really having an understanding of step 1 was. So I was putting a lot of security in the four walls, in the structure. I was also putting a lot of security in what that structure looked like. Everything that I was looking at as far as apartments and condos and houses, I was looking at the aesthetic of, and that, don't get me wrong, it is not bad or wrong to want these things. But I'm coming to you from a personal story. So it was pride, right? The security of my pride. I wanted the marble countertops. I wanted the tile or the wood floors. I wanted a specific square footage. I wanted it to look a certain way. And it wasn't like I was turning things down left and right because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. I couldn't even find what it was that I wanted in the first place, or what I wanted and couldn't afford because the rent prices are just outrageous. So God brought this apartment, this complex, on my life, on my heart. He put it in front of me. I saw it through a random app one day, and I texted my husband. I said, "I think I found us a place." So I came by here. I did a drive-by, and again, it was brand new construction. So let me tell you, all the trees are brand new. They're not even filled out, right? Like there's no landscaping. There's really no big clubhouse. There were no patios to sit on. There isn't even a pool. It's just like a splash pad and a playground. And immediately when I drove in, I was like, oh, I don't even really like this part of town. It's not a bad part of town. It's just an older part of town. Oh my God, it doesn't even have like a gate. Ugh, gross. What? It's a mid-rise. So it's much like a hotel where a lot of, I don't know where you're at, but most of the apartments in Florida are all, you access your house, your apartment from the outside. But this was like, living in the city. And so like a hotel, everything's on the inside. And that was really weird to me. And I just didn't really like it. It just wasn't like, ugh, pretty enough. And like, what are people going to say? Oh my gosh. But that's the reality of it. That's exactly what was going through my head. So again, I was putting my security in my pride, and what people would think. And I wanted people to be, to be proud of where I lived. For what? They ain't sleeping here. They're not eating here. I mean, like, it's all crazy, but this just goes to show you guys that we're just human and we have these human thoughts. So God really put it on my heart as I drove away, and I prayed about it. I did, because I'm aware that this was going through my mind. So I prayed about it, and I was like, you know what, God, I'm just surrender. I have to surrender this to you. Like, if this is the place that you want me to be, you know, show me or show me or tell me something. So a few days later, I was washing dishes in our former house, and God just really put it on my heart. He just really whispered to me that that's the place. That's the place. And when I drove back here to put my application in, I saw it from a totally different point of view. It was beautiful. It was exciting. It was brand stinking new. Like the paint, the first person to touch the paint on these walls is myself, my husband, or my kids. The first person to actually settle down and live here is us. Like it was everything I had asked for, minus the marble countertops. We have wood floors actually. I mean, it's like the wood tile, but it's beautiful. The walls are already painted. They're not stark white. I asked for 3 bedroom and 2 bath. That's exactly what we got. This is one of the biggest units that I had actually found in all of my apartment hunting. Um, we had a big kitchen. My husband is a chef. And I just realized, you know what? That's a security that I had, and God stripped that away. He stripped the external focus away from me. He stripped things away from me where I could not be prideful in, right? Am I proud of this home? Absolutely. But I was so worried about what it looked like, what people would think. I got to look this way. I don't want people to think that we're struggling and, that that our moving is a good thing. God stripped that from me, and he gave me the space that we needed. He gave me the space for my 2 kids to have a nice room together. And yes, they're boys. They're going to share a room. He gave me a 2nd bedroom for my studio, for my office, something that's all me. He gave my husband and I a big master bedroom that we could just leave as an intimate space with and you should have seen our old house. I love it. I love it. But it was a very old beach bungalow, old bones, right? Where everything just seemed to be breaking and cracking, and it just was old. But to have a brand new tub, to have a brand new toilet, to have a brand new sink, a brand new dishwasher, a brand new refrigerator, everything literally brand new. And we sold all of our furniture because God said, get rid of it. You're not bringing old furniture into a new space. So we sold everything. And I was like, you know what? I actually feel really good because God is putting us in this space to focus on 4 things. And I'm going to go over those 4 things in a different episode. But it was 4 things that he has called me to focus on this year, just this year. And he's putting me in a space to do just that. Not a space that's full of glitz and glamour, not a space that's full of sparkle and shine. And look at this clubhouse. And there is a weight room, but everything is so dang simple. And I absolutely love it. But it's not like we have fire pits and we have sparkling 5 pools and we have hot tubs and all the things that don't matter. Palm trees and Bermuda grass. I mean, he literally gave us exactly what it is that we needed. And he kept it so simple so that I could focus and my husband could focus on the 4 things that he put on our heart to focus. He removed yet another security. Okay, so we applied for this place. And then if you guys have listened to the last episode, you know how freaking long it took us to actually get approved, not because of our information, but because of the paperwork and the backup that the front office, God bless them, were trying to sift through. So here we are, we're packing up, and we packed our U-Haul, and the manager who was working on our paperwork, who had promised me we moved out on a Saturday, the previous Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days before our move out, she had said twice, we'll get you guys approved by Saturday. We'll get you guys approved. I kept saying, okay, we got to get approved because we're going to be moving out and we don't have anywhere to go. Literally, we're packing up a U-Haul. That's it. I'm going to get you guys approved by Saturday. Awesome. I went to bed that night with peace on my heart. I woke up the next day. I sent over what she needed to send. I heard nothing. Okay. Went to bed. We'll definitely hear something on Thursday. Definitely. Woke up Thursday. Didn't hear anything Thursday. I didn't sleep that good on Thursday night. My heart was beating a little bit faster. My palms were a little bit more sweaty. I was a little bit more irritable. I definitely was a little bit more stressed. The tears were flowing and flowing again. The what ifs, the back and forth, the confusion, the frustration, the uncertainty. Friday came and went. Certainly we'll hear something by Friday. Nothing. So I decided to call the office, found out she was in Vegas. So there it was. The one thing that I was fearing the absolute most was the fact that we would not have a place to move into when we moved out had come true. And I freaked out. I absolutely freaked out. I was like, what the heck? What are we supposed to do? Where are we supposed to go? We have nowhere to go. And I do not want to stay at my parents' house. And I do not want to stay at my in-laws' house. Not because of the fact that they're in-laws or that they're my parents, but the fact that I hate, and my husband's the same way, feeling like we're intruding on somebody else's space. And you have to understand, my in-laws don't have a big place. I mean, they have a decent sized house. My parents live in a condo, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo. So we were cramming a family of 4 into 1 bedroom. And I was also trying to run this business. I also had private clients and my group coaching clients, and I still had material that I had to record. That's exactly why I didn't do this podcast. So I am just like, why? I don't get it. We're good people. And trust me, God wants you to come to him with everything. And I did. So he took that security away. We spent that first night with my parents. Thank you, Jesus. It worked out. It was a little frustrating. It was definitely an adjustment. It was definitely chaotic, but it worked. We had food, we had family, we had a roof over our head. So come Sunday, we ended up renting an Airbnb. That had never been in my plan whatsoever, but it turned out to be where I learned the biggest lesson. So I'm still waiting to hear from them. I'm still every time checking my email, refreshing it over and over and over, checking my missed calls, every unknown caller. I would let it go to voicemail. If they didn't leave a voicemail, I would call them back. And if it wasn't the apartment complex, I would just hang up right away. So it was during one of the nights at the Airbnb, super cute, super amazing apartment downtown in the heart of St. Pete. Thank you, Jesus. We spent our last dime. We literally spent our last dime on this Airbnb and food. And, of course, my husband got paid, but we weren't, this was Sunday. And my husband doesn't get paid till Friday. And this place that we had was only available for 2 nights. So we were like, well, what the heck are we going to do? And then, of course, the thought started swirling, well, what if we don't get approved? Where are we going to live? We got to start the search all over again. Then we have to come up with more money for, the application fees and the deposit and the first and last month's rent. And it's outrageous. We don't have that. How are we going to do this? Where are we going to go? Are we going to have to live with our parents for a year? I can't do this. I cannot do this. Is exactly my fear and exactly what I kept telling myself. So again, I kept going over and over the what ifs, trying to figure everything out. So God talks to me in dreams. And I feel God talks to everybody in the way that they recognize it and they listen to him and that they're aware. For me, it's dreams. And I have very vivid dreams anyway, but when it's him speaking to me, it is him 100%. Like there's no doubt. I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, which I never have to do. And I laid back down and this peace just came over me. And I was half asleep, half not. It was almost like a trance. And God was just talking to me. And the biggest lesson was, I'm also removing this security because you don't know what your next move is. So I'm removing that. I'm removing control. I am removing everything that you're trying to hold on to understand what your next move is, to figure out what your next move is when that's not for you to figure out. Your job is to trust me like you say you trust me every hour of the day. And when you go off and worry, which I know you're going to do, I'm a patient God. You need to return to that. As soon as you become aware of what you're doing, you need to return to me. And that was the theme of just return to me, return to me, return to me. And here I'm going to share some devotions that I came up exactly in those days. It was actually March 24th, I believe. Started on March 24th. But what he told me in my dream is that, I'm so freaking busy creating my own frustration. And we all do this. We create our own frustration. We create our own uncertainty. We create our own confusion because we're trying to constantly figure out what our next move is. We're trying to figure out what to do when what we're praying for might not come in the way that we expected or in the way that we're asking. Well, if this doesn't work out, then I'm going to do this, 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 and this, because we're so afraid of feeling disappointment. We're so afraid of feeling lost. We're so afraid of feeling out of control that we're constantly trying to control a circumstance, the what if that hasn't even happened yet. We're so busy trying to plan out steps 3, 4, and 5 when we haven't even gotten to step 1 yet. And what happens is when we don't let things just unfold exactly how they're supposed to, when we don't give things a chance to fail, when we don't give God a chance to say no and show us a different way, when we don't give him a chance to say yes, we completely miss the lesson that he has been trying to teach us. And then what happens is we find ourselves in the same situation over and over and over again because he keeps trying to teach us a lesson that we need to learn before we're able to actually move on in our lives, before we're actually able to attain what it is that we're praying for, until we're actually able to transform into who we need to be in order to sustain the life that we're asking for and have the capacity to handle the blessings that 1, we're deserving of, 2, that he has stored up for us, and 3, that we're asking for. We have to get through the first lesson. We can't go to school. We don't start in the middle of the course. We don't start in the middle of a school book. You have to get through lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, lesson 4. There's a reason behind it. But when you're trying to study and figure out the test answers for lesson 3 and 4, and you haven't even taken test 1 yet on lesson 1, then guess what test you're going to have to keep retaking? Test 1. Guess what chapter you're going to have to keep rereading? Lesson 1. Right? If we're so busy reading and trying to figure out lesson 3 and lesson 4, when the test comes, it's a fail. And then we wonder why we keep having to retake the same test over and over and over again. It's because you're trying to figure out something that is not meant for you to figure out. And there is an absolute blessing that's waiting for you in step 1. In lesson number 1, you have to let it just come to you. Let go of all your security. I had to let go of the security of money. I had to let go of the security of 4 walls. I even had to let go of the security of people. I was so calm and so sure that first 24 hours after the manager had told me we would be approved by Saturday, no doubt we will make it happen. I wasn't relying on God. I wasn't having trust in God. I wasn't having my security in what God said. I was putting my security in what she told me. And then I had to understand, I wanted to get mad at her. Vegas? What the hell are you doing in Vegas when you knew? And these came when you knew. We've been waiting to move in. We have kids. We have this. We have nowhere to go. You told me. You told me this was going to happen. You told me that we were going to be approved and moved in. You should have left it with somebody else. You should have followed up. You should have worked on your vacation. Who am I? And who is she? She's a human, just like me. She doesn't have the end say. Yes, of course, I'm sure every intention of hers was to get us approved by Saturday. But we're not the only people moving in. We're not the only people with issues. She can't control the weather. She can't control if she got sick or maybe her kids got sick or her husband and she couldn't come into work. She had a planned vacation. She can't control that she left a file for it to be finalized and it never got finalized. So I realized I also put my security in other people and what they said to make me feel better about my situation, to make me feel secure and calm. It wasn't God. So he stripped me from that too, because guess what happened? We didn't get approved Saturday. We didn't have a place to go. I didn't have it all figured out. I didn't have steps 3, 4, 5, and 6 figured out. Even if I wanted to, I no longer held on. It was like sand through my fingers. I no longer had anything to hold on to seek out control. I no longer had anything that I could grasp and be like, okay, I understand this and this makes sense. And so this has got to work. I had nothing because I didn't know when we were going to get approved. If we were going to get approved, I had no idea. We didn't even have, it's not like I was like, okay, well, we have the Airbnb for the whole week, so we're good. I didn't even have that. We didn't even have the money to rent another Airbnb or extend a stay somewhere else or a hotel room. Every single thing was stripped away from me, was stripped away. And that night, God told me, you have to trust me. You have to let go. There comes a time in your life where you have to let go, and this is the time. And I am gently, like, if you're watching this or if you're listening, my hand is in a fist right now. That was me holding on to every single security. God gently uncurled my fist, unraveled my fist, and said, you gotta let it go. And what is that? Right? What is an open palm to the sky? Giving it all to God. It's a physical symbol of letting go and giving it to God. And I had to do it. And even he peeled back one finger and one joint at a time. But then I realized this whole time I had been so worked up and I was so confused and uncertain and mad and angry because I was trying to figure things out instead of just letting things happen and actually giving things a chance to just unravel and unfold and be revealed, because there's a blessing. And it was peace. It was utter peace and joy and a new level of gratefulness that I had never felt before. And let me tell you, when I unraveled, when I finally let go and I said, God, I understand, I slept so good that night. Let me tell you, that week, our taxes deposited in the bank. Deposited in the bank. That week, we got approved. Ready to move in that day, the day we got approved. That week, our stimulus came. That week, my husband got a raise. That week, we were blessed in so much abundance and prosperity. That week, let me tell you, the blessings came. But it was probably blessings that I had been blocking for so long, probably in different forms. But I had been blocking for so long because I was so busy trying to figure out steps 3 and steps 4 for so long, for most of my life, up until that night, up until 2 a.m. that morning. That is how I lived my life. And my security was in everything but God. Half God, half person, half God, half environment. Man, it was so overwhelming. It was so blissful and peaceful. I felt so light. I felt like a butterfly that had just come out of a cocoon. And I finally got it. What it meant to just let go and surrender. And I'm going to share with you some devotions that were on the docket those past few days. So when God talks, man, he talks. This is the first sentence of a devotion that I did the morning of March 24th. Can't make this up. This is a time in your life when you must learn to let go of loved ones, of possessions, of control. Heard. In order to let go of something that is precious to you, you need to rest in my presence where you are complete. You can feel secure even in the midst of cataclysmic changes through awareness of my continual presence. You can feel secure even in the midst of cataclysmic changes through awareness of my continual presence. As you release more and more things into my care, remember that I never let go of your hand. Herein lies your security, which no one and no circumstance can take from you. That is so powerful. Even now reading it, I get emotional because God can strip every security away from me, and he did, until my full security was in him. And no one and no circumstance can take that away. Herein lies your security. Remember that I never let go of your hand. That's your security. Not step 3, step 4. Step 1. And that is to let go of loved ones, possessions, control, money, environment, words, people. You can feel secure even in the midst of cataclysmic changes through awareness of my continual presence. That is unbelievable. Tell me there isn't a God. Just tell me. Unbelievable. There are more that he gave me, but I don't even think I need to share more. That said it all right there. That said it all right there. So yeah, we're human and we're going to worry and we're going to stress. We're not all sitting around a campfire singing Kumbaya, even though that sounds amazing. It just doesn't happen that way. And it's okay. That doesn't mean you're failing as a Christian. It doesn't mean you're failing in your spirituality. It doesn't mean you're failing as a person. It doesn't mean you're failing God. The difference is, do you let that consume you? Or are you so aware that once you become aware of your self-loathing and your worrying and your self-pity and the frustration, and once you realize I'm creating this because I'm trying to figure everything out before I even need to figure something out. We're trying to figure things out before we even need to figure it out. And all God asks is that once you become aware of that you just simply return to him. Return to him. Shoot, God, I'm sorry. I'm over here worrying about this and that. And like I have something to do with it, or I have some say. Lord, take it. Take it from my heart. When you find that your hand is clenched into a fist because you're grasping so tightly onto an answer, onto an understanding, you're trying to figure it out, slowly release your hand and just give it up to God. Return to Him. All of my security, he did exactly what I prayed for, and that was to remove all securities, even securities that I didn't know. Was I scared asking Him that? Yup. Did He do it? Yup. Did it feel good? Not really. But the feeling that I have now, knowing what I know, and the lesson that He gave me in this, and the peace that I have now, yeah, it surpasses any fear I had. It surpasses any frustration. It surpasses all the uncertainty. And I would absolutely go through it again, because God brought me into a space where it could only be Him and I. He brought me into a space where I had no security. Nothing. I was trying to, and trust me, I was trying to look left. I was trying to look right, up, down, trying to figure it out. Where can I get some money? Where can we stay? How can I make this work? Who can I call to make them work faster? God is an awesome God. And that was a lesson that I need to learn in order to step into this new me, this renewed business, this renewed strength, this renewed heart, this renewed spirit, this renewed empowerment. This is me leveling up and stepping into even more transformation and deeper faith. This allows me to be a better coach to my clients, a better mom to my kids, a better wife, a better person, a better daughter of Christ. This allows me to be more successful, more abundant. This allows me to be more humble. This allows me to be more at peace and more joyful. But had I kept relying on my own securities, even the security of my own mind, which good Lord, please no, that's a mess. But had I continued that and lived in my own fear that I caused, in my own frustration that I was causing, in my own confusion, in my own uncertainty, in my own anxiety, I tell you what, I'd be learning this lesson over and over again until I got it. And God had to put me into a space where I did not know what the next hour was going to bring. I truly did not know, but I trusted. And I had to learn to do that. And I had to trust by letting go. And I had to trust to have the faith that as I released, as God peeled back my fingers one by one, He never let go of my hand, not once. Even peeling back my fingers, He never let go. And that is my security. And that is where peace lies. A peace beyond all understanding. The constant communicating with Christ. The constant communion with God. Telling Him about your day, your feelings, every hour. He's got you. You don't have to worry. God is not a God of worry and frustration and uncertainty and confusion. So when you're feeling that, know that that's you creating that. But also know that there's a remedy. And the remedy is to return to Christ. Just keep returning to Him. Keep releasing it to Him. And it's just, you start to live above your circumstances and everything. In everything you do. I hope this touched somebody. I hope this helped somebody. I'm so proud to be here, y'all. There's so many more lessons that are coming. That was probably one of the biggest ones. I can't explain it enough. I feel like I can't even articulate it as well as I want to. It was just amazing what He brought to me in a dream to share. And it was instant. I was like, oh yeah, okay, I get it. Wow, I understand. You're right, yes. One step at a time. Let it all unfold. Give it a chance to fail. Give it a chance to succeed. Give yourself a chance to hear no. Give yourself give yourself a chance to hear yes. Don't be afraid of it. Don't try to figure out what comes next. Don't try to figure out the padding so that you don't feel disappointed or hurt or angry or confused or lost or out of control. Let it just come. I hope you guys have the most wonderful, empowering week, and I will talk to y'all next Monday.